The new Patriotic Party Parliamentary primaries challenger for the Subin Constituency seat, Mr. J.B. Dankwah, has accused the constituency executives of colluding with his incumbent opponent and the regional chairman to hold a fraudulent election under the glare of police. In what appeared to be a clear disregard for the law, the regional chairman allegedly called for the primaries to be held in the Subin constituency, despite an injunction having been placed of that election by an Accra High Court. In an exclusive interview with DNT, J.B. Dankwah stated that he received a copy of a court injunction that the primaries election that was to take place the following day could not be held. In adherence to the injunction, Mr. Dankwah made no moves towards the election but began to receive phone calls that officials were gathering to carry out the elections. Indeed, when he made the rounds on some polling stations, he discovered that some persons had taken positions as though they were EC officials preparing to carry out the elections. When he asked them if they were officials of the Electoral Commission, they responded in the negative, at which point he showed them a copy of the injunction and warned them that their participation in the election constituted a fraud and an illegality.
The Ghana police was on the ground supporting the proceeding of the election in spite of the court injunction.
Exactly. So I put it this way. The state resource, Ghana police, was being used to perpetrate fraud on the people of Subin by my opponent, Eugene Boachenchi.
Okay.
He was doing that in broad daylight. And at one point, at Asafo polling station, Ahmadiyya in Asafo, the electoral area Asafo, I met the regional national security coordinator. And so when I confronted the agents who were posing as EC, he asked me to go and see the national security coordinator, and he had some operatives with him. So I went to him, showed him the injunction, and he was surprised that there was an injunction on the election and the election were being carried on. Okay. So he told me that he asked me to give him the injunction. I gave it to him, the document. He looked at it and he said, "So who are these people sitting there conducting the election?" I said, "I don't know where they are from. They are not EC. EC did not show up because of this injunction." So he took a phone, called the EC director in the Ashanti region, and asked him if he had received any injunction. And he said yes. He made him read what he had to compare with what I had. And he realized it was the same injunction from the same court, from the same judge, the same petitioners. So he said that if there is an injunction, then elections cannot be held. So he ordered the elections to be stopped. And the people supporting my opponent said that no, Chairman Wutimi asked them to do it. And while saying that, they were insisting that the election be conducted because Chairman Wutimi has instructed them to do it. And the name of the National Security Coordinator is I'll remember. When I remember, I'll say it. Okay. He said that if there is an injunction, there's no way that Chairman Wutimi can order elections against a court order, and that Wutimi has no authority, no power to do that. But he insisted that he should call him to me. So he did call him. And whilst doing that, my opponent showed up. That is Eugene Boachenchi showed up and said, yes, it is the regional chairman who asked him to do it. So the National Security Coordinator called Chairman Wutimi, who is the regional chairman of NPP in Ashanti region. And I didn't hear what he said on his side, but I heard the coordinator say that he told him that it is the party that is doing it. So they're just doing their own thing. So if I have anything to do.
So from your vantage point, if there's been a court injunction and the party has decided to go ahead with the election anyway, without EC reps present, you could have gone home to sleep because whatever they do would not carry any legal backing.
And that is exactly what I did.
Okay.
That's exactly what I did. What I was doing, I was trying to do a service for my nation and for my party.
Okay.
That probably some people don't know that if there is an injunction, it is illegal and it's in fact criminal to conduct an election.
Were there anybody
under
arrested?
Injunction.
Were there anybody arrested?
Come again?
Were there anybody arrested for dealing with an election where injunction?
No. There were police commanders around. You see, these people have amassed state resources to perpetrate fraud. To conduct an election that was illegal.
So let me ask you this: was there any results declared?
No, he declared the results himself and declared himself winner.
Okay, who declared the results?
Himself. Eugene Boachenki.
Okay. All right. So what's next for you?
I'm waiting on MPP to make pronouncements on what happened because the EC did not show up. So in the official results of EC, I'm sure handed over to NPP party will not have Subin as part of constituencies where they conducted election.